Does it help that you have that sort of youthful confidence? You don't have to worry about it.
I'm confident all the time. I don't feel pressure like that.
College basketball has a Miikka Muurinen problem, and nobody seems to understand how big of a problem he is going to be. Think about what we're actually talking about here. A 7-foot forward from Finland, a kid who grew up in a small city outside of Helsinki, moved to Spain at 15, crossed the Atlantic to play high school basketball in Kansas, then in Arizona, then skipped his senior year entirely to sign a 3-year professional contract with one of the most storied clubs in European basketball. And after all of that, after going viral at EuroBasket, after winning the Rising Star Award as the youngest player in the entire tournament, after playing against grown professional men while most kids his age were worried about prom, he decided he still wanted to go to college. He committed to Arkansas. John Calipari just locked in the #1 recruit class in the country, and college basketball just got a problem it has absolutely no answer for. Let's go back to the beginning, because this story doesn't start in Fayetteville. It doesn't start in Serbia or Arizona or Kansas. It starts in Järvenpää, Finland, a quiet city about 30 minutes north of Helsinki. That's where Miikka Muurinen was born on March 4th, 2007. Now here's the thing about Miikka that most people gloss over when they talk about him. This wasn't some random kid who happened to be tall. Basketball was literally in his blood. His father, Kimmo Muurinen, was a professional player who represented the Finnish national team in 153 games over the course of his career. His mother, Jenny Laskinen, played college basketball at the University of North Carolina and went on to represent the Finnish women's national team in 68 international games. Miikka was literally coached by his mother in his early youth years. Both parents were professional players. The sport was literally in the family business. He joined the youth program at Beat Basketball in Järvenpää when he was just 7 years old. And even in those early years, you could see something different. The size was obvious, but what separated him was the feel for the game, the way he moved, and the way he read situations. By the time Miikka was 15, he had already outgrown what Finland could offer him, and instead of waiting around for the competition to catch up, he did something most European teenagers never do. He left home. He moved to Madrid and joined Zentro Basketball, putting himself in a completely different basketball environment with different players, different coaching, and different competitive pressure. He was 15 years old, living in Spain, learning to play against older kids, navigating a new language and a new culture. Most kids that age couldn't handle a new school. He handled a new country. Then came the decision that changed everything. In the summer of 2023, Muurinen crossed the Atlantic entirely and enrolled at Sunshine Christian Academy in Bel Air, Kansas, one of the most competitive high school basketball environments in the country. The NIBC, the circuit Sunrise competes on, is basically the proving ground for top national prospects. This was his first real look at American basketball, and he was coming from Finland by way of Spain. Nobody knew what to expect, but they found out quickly. The size was impossible to ignore. At the time listed around 6'10" with a wingspan that seemed to stretch forever, he immediately stood out athletically. But it was the summer of 2024 that launched him into a completely different conversation. Playing for Brad Beal Elite for the Nike EYBL, the most competitive grassroots basketball circuit in the country, Muurinen didn't just hold his own. He helped Bradley Beal Elite win the Peach Jam Championship at the 16U level, and he walked away from that tournament as MVP. For his junior season, Muurinen transferred to AZ Compass Prep in Chandler, Arizona, one of the premier high school programs in the entire country. And there, playing against the best high school competition night after night, he solidified exactly what the recruiting services had been trending towards: 5-star. ESPN had graded him as a 95, which would put him top 5 in the 2026 class. Multiple services had him as a top 15 recruit nationally. He was getting calls from Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky, Indiana, Kansas, and Illinois. Every blue blood in America was pursuing the kid from Finland. And then everything shifted again. Because just when everyone thought they knew what Miikka Muurinen's path was going to look like, he made a decision that nobody saw coming. He skipped his senior year of high school and signed a 3-year professional contract with Partizan Belgrade at 18 years old. Partizan Belgrade isn't a small club. This is one of the most historic basketball organizations in all of Europe. They compete in the EuroLeague, which is like the Champions League of basketball. The level of competition, the structure, and the professionalism, it's a completely different world from high school basketball. And Miikka Muurinen walked into that world at 18, listed as the youngest player on the roster, and immediately went viral. His stats with Partizan were modest. Limited minutes under head coach Zeljko Obradovic, one of the most legendary coaches in European basketball history. But every time he touched the floor, something happened that made the internet lose its mind. A thunderous dunk in his debut, a chase down block, the athleticism, the length, the energy, it all translated immediately in the biggest professional stage in Europe. and a social media influencer named Cam Wilder coined a nickname that stuck instantly: Slim Jesus. Then came EuroBasket 2025, and this is where Miikka Muurinen stopped being a prospect and started becoming a problem for everyone who doubted him. Finland entered FIBA EuroBasket 2025 with modest expectations. They weren't Serbia or France. They aren't a traditional powerhouse in European basketball. And Miikka Muurinen, the youngest player in the entire tournament, was expected to be a spark plug off the bench, a role player in a competition full of grown men with years of professional experience. What actually happened was historic. Finland finished 4th at EuroBasket 2025, the best result in the country's basketball history. And Muurinen was a massive part of why, averaging 6.6 points and 1.9 rebounds in just over 11 minutes per game. He was Finland's second leading shot blocker despite coming off the bench. He went 14 for 16 on 2-point attempts across the tournament. In the quarterfinal against Serbia, the same Serbia that featured professional players who've spent years in the NBA and EuroLeague, he exploded off the bench for 9 points in 12 minutes and helped pull off one of the biggest upsets in the competition. Finland's coach Lassi Tuovi said it best in the post-game press conference. He said, "You can't put him in a box. The box will be too small." And at the end of the tournament, Muurinen won the inaugural EuroBasket Rising Star Award, the first player from Finland to ever win it. After EuroBasket, things got complicated at Partizan. Coach Obradovic stepped down mid-season and new coach Joan Penareya severely limited Muurinen's minutes, reportedly unaware of his plan to return to America for college. Muurinen handled it with a maturity that's rare for any player at that age. He said publicly that he partly understood the coach's position, that it was just a different culture, and that it was time to move on. No drama, no public complaints, just a decision and a plan. He left Partizan in late February of 2026 and shifted his full focus to his college future. Then came the Nike Hoop Summit in April 2026, the most prestigious international all-star event in basketball. The stage where the best young talent in the world go head-to-head against the best high school players in America. Muurinen headlined the world team, and in 15 minutes on the floor, he put up 10 points and 8 rebounds while looking like a player who was ready for the next level. He was more physical than the year before, more composed. The Partizan year had done exactly what it was supposed to do: mature him, challenge him, show him what professional basketball demands, and now that version of Miikka Muurinen was about to be unleashed on college basketball. The finalists were Kentucky, Arkansas, North Carolina, Illinois, Indiana, and BYU. It came down to the wire. Reports had Arkansas and North Carolina as the leaders heading into the announcement. And on April 27, 2026, Muurinen went live on Instagram and committed to the Arkansas Razorbacks. Just like that, John Calipari had one of the top recruits in the country, rated number 1 by ESPN. Muurinen joins 5-star guard Jordan Smith, the number 2 overall recruit in the 2026 class, 5-star wing JJ Andrews, who actually teamed up with Muurinen to win the Peach Jam Championship together with Brad Beal-Lee, and 5-star wing Adou Touré, 4 5-star players in a single class. And now, this Arkansas team going into the 26-27 season is looking elite. Jordan Smith running the point, JJ Andrews as a switchable wing, Adou Touré adding length and athleticism, and Miikka Muurinen, 7 feet tall with a 7'2" wingspan, a soft touch that extends to the arc, the ability to get out in transition, and defensive versatility that allows him to guard on the perimeter or protect the rim. He's been called the Finnish freak by FIBA. He's been projected as a potential first-round pick in the 2027 NBA draft, and he told ESPN exactly why he chose Arkansas. Calipari kept it real with him, never oversold the situation, has a track record of developing one-and-done players, and had been consistently recruiting him for nearly 2 years without wavering. He was also blunt about what he's coming to do. He said he's going to Arkansas to help them win a national championship, and that he wants to be around people who can show him the way to becoming a one-and-done. Now there's still a few questions that need to be acknowledged. His 3-point shooting hasn't been consistent, 35% at EuroBasket and only 25% against certain competition. He'll need to add muscle to compete with muscular SEC bigs. Defensive consistency is still something he's growing into. The college game is going to be different from anything he's played in, and the SEC doesn't give anyone a soft landing. But here's what matters more than any of that right now. He's 19 years old, he's already played professional basketball in the EuroLeague, he's already faced grown men on the biggest international stage in European basketball and won a Rising Star Award, he already won a Peach Jam MVP on American soil, he's already been through coaching changes, cultural adjustments, a new country, a new language, and the weight of being the most hyped Finnish basketball prospect since Lauri Markkanen. And through all of it, he's never blinked. Not once. College basketball has a Miikka Muurinen problem, because one season at Arkansas, with 4 5-star teammates, under a coach who has sent dozens of players to the lottery, this kid from Järvenpää is about to show exactly why every program in the country wanted him. The box was too small everywhere else. Fayetteville might just be big enough to hold what's coming. Arkansas hasn't won a national championship since 1994. Does this recruiting class finally change that? Comment your prediction of how far Calipari and Muurinen can take the Razorbacks next season. And as always, thanks for watching.